This is the Truth Frequency Radio Network.
We are TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio. When you finally boil it all down, magic is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of light. What you think becomes real quicker. Regain our imagination, regain our inner child, and let that inner child out.
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group Heislick and New York City Neo Shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless. In the darkest of nights, gonna let my light shine as my heart beats a rhythm with space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die. You've been on mute. Oh my God, we were on mute that whole time. All right, so check it out. I don't know if anyone heard us, but we were just going off and the mute was on.
I can't breathe. I can't.
So if there was a moment where you were like, what's going on? that 3 minutes. For you guys, it might have been...
You missed it. There was a rant.
It might have been complete hell of silence. But we were ranting. And I looked and I seen the little mute button on. And I'm like, are you serious?
Oh, my God.
So...
I can't. I think I'm gonna.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna pee. I'm gonna pee.
All right, so...
All right. I'm pulling it together.
Special shout out, guys, to Saturday Night and the Crazy. I'm Frank Castle, and I'm here with Paula Milo. Your Sorcerer Supreme. Saturday Night is back.
Oh my God! It's
From a
like
mute break.
Groundhog Day.
All right, so listen, I'm not even going to get into it. You guys know how the show starts.
Chris and Cherie, we love you. That was already said too.
Special shout outs to everybody in the chat room. We love you guys, and our
new YouTube friends. Frank did the show with Beyond the Veil 2 weeks ago.
Yes, it was the video show.
Yeah, it was a video show, and it was awesome. And now we have a whole bunch of YouTube friends we'd like to say hi to.
All right, so we beat 100 subscribers.
Oh, yes. We also want to thank you for that. We have 100 subscribers on YouTube, so we can name the page.
Although they want me to...
Although we don't know if it'll actually be called Fearless.
So, yeah, so if you guys don't have the app, definitely go download.
Go get it.
truthfrequencyradio.com. Yeah, so thanks for tuning in, guys. That was just that might have been the funniest start to anything. If you guys if there was a camera on me,
You would have said, "What is he
Frank
saying?"
looked horrified, because we're just talking along, and he's ranting, and he was threatening me before the show sexually.
Don't be silly. Now's the
Just
time for
kidding.
the disclaimer.
Yeah.
This is the story of my journey and my journey alone. I don't suggest you try this at home alone. That is, unless you're ready, then by all means proceed. But first, we suggest you finding a reputable shaman who knows what he or she is doing and travel safe in the love and the light. And remember, the universe rewards bravery.
And people who know how to use a microphone.
You know what it is? Look, see how it's gone?
Yeah.
That's why I didn't see it. I wiggled the mouse and then it popped back
You know
up.
what would be even funnier is if that never happened. We just started it over.
That would be funny. I think they'd be making fun of us in the chat room.
Yeah,
by
yeah,
now.
probably.
All right. Thanks for coming back. It's been an interesting week. I don't want to call it exciting. It is exciting, though. But I had a friend pass away. We're going to talk a little bit about that and my experience. And I don't know if I want to start the show with that because it kind of gets dark right away. But these are the hard parts, the breaking, the conditioning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I found myself, like, this is a dude I knew him well, right?
Your whole life.
I knew him my whole life,
Yeah.
right? So, but he was a little older, so I didn't get to hang out, right? So he had his path. He went down it, but I watched him do some good things in the last couple of years, even though he had his own troubles. So I was like, all right, good, strong will to yourself, keeping yourself straight and clean. I don't really want to get too deep into what he did, but he was completely straight and clean, but he flipped a bicycle and hit his head. I don't know, like 5-6 months ago, maybe 7 months ago. And he wasn't wearing a bike helmet. Right. And he had a concussion. He went to the hospital. And then everything was fine. They said everything was cool.
Right.
Now, he moved down to the Carolinas, and he got a house, a little motor scooter to live closer to the family. You're in your late 40s now. It's like, come on down. We're going to take care of you. You've had enough on your life. And 2 months into just being clean and sober and being down and out of everything, away from New York and the craziness, he dies on the couch of his friend. He had like a little bit of a seizure and then an aneurysm, right? He just went right on the couch. So it was kind of a shock to everyone.
Yeah.
But this was, he was the second brother to die. His younger brother died a couple of years back of a drug overdose. That was difficult at the time, too, because guys that were involved with that drug overdose were involved with 3 drug overdoses, 2 dying, 1 throwing himself in front of a train. Growing up with all of them threw me into a bad position that day. But I was staring at him. You were nice enough to come with me, and everyone was there. All right. I'm running out of breath talking about this.
Take your
because
time.
This is where it gets weird.
Take your time.
We know, we meaning Paula and I, let's say, and let's say the listeners who've been keeping around. Like I tell you guys what I've seen, that death is just an illusion. Mm-hmm. But it's never when you're dead what you're doing. It's what you leave behind. And I noticed some really weird things. It's hard to talk about this. One of the things that I had to sit down for was the room, to me, looked very colorful. Like, I know there was flowers. I know there was everything. I went up to him. I spoke to him. I could hear him talking to me, but it wasn't his body. It was like he was standing to my side speaking to me. And he has a voice like this, and he's like, hey, cuz, what's going on, And I'm listening to him, and I can hear his father. And I'm like, this is what, and I was telling you, I was like, really a little angry. I'm like, and it's not his fault. I mean, he's like, I died. And I'm like, look, this is what you left behind. And I've never, there's pain, and then there's pain, right? And fear and loss, everything else, a depression, an anxiety, a hard to breathe. The room gets tighter. See, with me, the room don't get tighter anymore. I expand in the room.
Right. And then the room goes away.
And the room just,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, and you know me, I walk into these rooms and I'm absorbing energy left and right.
Oh, I know. I know.
We do all the practice. We know what we're going into. Shields up. We have to be protected. Take a deep breath. Remember everything you learned and whatever. You get in the room. All that goes right out the window because your mother's there and your friends are there. And you're like, oh, my God, I love you, lowercase g. But at the time, you're like, wow. One of the things I said to you was, I don't want to be, if this happens, I don't want a cross over me. Right? I was looking at a cross over my dead friend, and I know what that cross means.
To you.
No, I know. I understand that two people could look at the same thing and have two different regards to it, right?
Absolutely.
My thing is like this.
This is your
right. This is my
your
opinion and
alone.
my take. I've already given my disclaimer
Yeah.
that anyone in that much pain and suffering shouldn't be poured into your face. That's not how you rise above it, is to strap a guy to a cross. We were talking about this earlier, that my heart had it felt like a crown of thorns around it.
Yes.
Tonight, right? And
Yeah.
I couldn't breathe. And I was like, oh, it's just like the Jesus head.
Mm-hmm.
You're putting the crowns of thorn on it. It's almost like he can't think. It's like as soon as you go to expand, ow.
Yeah, you can't expand.
Right?
Right.
So it's
a
all
metaphor.
this. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I see.
Mm-hmm.
I see the metaphor of it locking me in to this weird Anunnaki system that the Christ head is true. Right? I'm not debating that ever.
Right.
I'm like this with the Jesus 50-50, although I can't get him to reveal to me, but that's my business. Maybe it just isn't supposed to for me.
Right.
That could be a
Right, it's your
possibility too.
opinion.
Like he's not even supposed to ever meet this character because they don't sync up for whatever reason.
Right. Your belief system is different.
Or it was just a guy with a slightly different name in the stories, two different stories, one coming from this character and the true story is this guy. Either way, I started getting nervous and I'm thinking about the ritual and I could hear the Father and all I could think about is what was left behind. And I'm like, you know what? Thank God, lowercase g, you got good 2 months because other than that, I know it was a hard life or it's a hard life, but 2 sons. The mother was sitting there, rock solid.
Rock solid.
Rock solid. I was like, wow. She looked me right in the eye. She loved you. Thank you for coming. She kissed me right on the face. We got big Helga hugs,
Yeah.
But what I was seeing, and I was pouring tears, I was attaching to the masculine energy in the room.
Yeah.
He had to be pulled from his seat in the front to the back. Now, look, I don't mean to harp on this, but guys, this is the reality of it. I had to go sit down, take a deep breath, and ground myself. Like I tell you guys, ground yourself every time. Anchor to the center of the earth, wrap it around, root in. I had to do everything, and tears were pouring. And I realized that I was pulling some of that for him. I touched him. I looked him right in the eyes.
Yeah.
As a man,
Took some stuff away.
oh, man, look, I'm around 40 and change years. There's some things I've never had to do. I've never had to look at a man who lost 2 sons in the eye that I grew up with, that I know really well, and then be the older son of the wife's best friend, the 2 brothers here and the 2 brothers gone here. Very weird. It's like that coin and the 2 sides of it.
Yeah.
Mom gets to have hers and this mother doesn't. But me as a son to both women will always be a son to both. That's how I see it.
Right.
Like you always still have me. This is all the things that I was pouring out and thinking. Look, to me, the room was changing and I was sitting you had to come and sit with me. You were holding me. And I kept saying to myself, I will not be afraid. I will not be afraid. And I was like, why am I saying this? I will not be afraid. I will not be afraid. This is what's going on in my head while tears are pouring. I get up and walk over to him to say goodbye. And I looked him right in the face. I don't have nothing to say sometimes, which is really weird.
But that means there is nothing to say. So saying nothing or doing nothing is the act that you're supposed to be doing.
Right. But something from the eldest son.
You took energy away with you when you left him.
I kissed him on his head. I looked him in his
enough.
eye. I told him I loved him.
Yeah, that was gift enough for him.
And then I was sorry for his loss, and then I moved on. But what is really happening, this is what I was going to get at, exactly what you just said in the moment. What I was doing was not only, it's such a tense moment. It's like those moments where you get in the flow in a basketball or football game, except it's in fear and sorrow and loss. And literally, I was losing it. I was thinking to myself, this better be real. This better be real. Everything that I'm like, I know it's real. I've seen it. I've been there. I've gone back multiple times to check.
Yes, you have seen it.
I've grabbed beings and said, no, you're going to show me and you're going to take me here. And I've seen all this stuff. And for me to think back the way I used to think.
Right. You're a completely different person.
I was like, this better be real. And I cried it out. And I started to remember, like, hey, look, you really know what's going on here. Calm down.
Yeah, you have to calm yourself down. But this is how I feel about my uncle, because I just lost my aunt a couple of months ago. She was like my mother. I mean, they were like my parents. I mean, I love her. You know, I just love them. But this is how I feel about my uncle. It's the people that are left behind. You know, you're not sad. I'm not sad that my aunt isn't on this planet anymore. I'm so happy for her that she's in peace and she's not suffering and she's not in pain and she's all.
Right. See, some people, I'm looking in the room and they're cool, but they're like, yo, this is a little depressing. This is life, and we're going to get out of this in a second.
Yeah, we're gonna stop talking about this now.
But we're getting the ability to work through by practicing constantly, getting our mind prepared for these things in life that happen constantly that a lot of us weren't raised to do properly. Right? So not everybody tells you to go over and show your respects and do, there's a whole set of things that are happening.
Right.
And I noticed that I failed in the past in times of like the brother's funeral. I started a fight.
Well, I don't think you could handle what was going on. You were younger too.
No, I know, but then boom, round number 2.
Mm-hmm. And it was
completely different.
Completely different. A completely different experience.
So everything I learned up to this point is what I was getting at as well, is had to be put in just so I can cry it out and then move on without completely losing it. You know how people get depressed and they lose it. They go down the rabbit hole. They leave. They want to do cocaine. They want to drink beer all night. And, a celebration, I don't know, of life is a little different. I guess you could do that. But it makes it depressing when you go off and you don't have a grounding
when
clue.
you destruct after.
You break apart from these things, from seeing this stuff. It hits your life and you go, oh, but how do you stay in the vibe? I'm just talking about this because it's the show and I think it's important. What I was seeing, though, and I was bringing it to your attention tonight, was beings looking in. Now, I know everybody wants to hear about the beings and stuff, but I was really in between this set of everything you guys are teaching me better be real, or there's going to be an outcome that's not healthy.
Right.
And they were going, calm down. And once again, I was pouring tears looking up, and they were looking in, pouring tears at me.
Right.
Like, don't just let, we're what do they call that? Transmuting the energy. It took a lot out of me, but then I would say, look, you guys got to take this. I feel what he's feeling, and we have to work this out, but you got to take it out of me.
Right.
Like, I need to go home and go to bed tonight. I need to wake up tomorrow. I'll deal with it again, but I can't let it take my life.
Take your body.
I almost collapsed.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. You don't think, but because you see a face your whole life, and then all of a sudden it's there. But there's so much more going on. I started to understand why back in the day they would have a Viking funeral where it'd be more of a party,
right?
To just
or a
celebrate
celebration of life. Yeah.
Like my mother says that you should celebrate me. That's so much more important. So are you guys doing, like, you're practicing? Like, what are you doing out there? What are you doing to break your cycle, break the conditioning? What are you doing to upgrade yourself, to enhance yourself? I'm going to tell you an interesting story about what happened today. That's really weird.
Just a few hours ago, actually.
I got this really weird feeling today that I had to go to my house. Like I had to be there. So I opt to just run over to the house. Like, oh, let me get out of here. I'm going over to see what's going on. And everyone that lives there was just sitting there. And they were like, oh, you just missed a whole crowd. And I said to them, oh, good. I didn't want to, and then they started telling me who was in the crowd. They were like, we haven't had this many people in the house in 20 years. And I was like, 20 years? Like, what happened? Everyone from the funeral came over.
Right.
So I was like, oh, right. So my mother has I need to crack her back every day. It makes her feel good, right? So I just pick her up and I just grab her and I squeeze her and I crack her back. And she's like, wow, you didn't even let me breathe that one out.
Right. I
gave her a kiss. And I said, I got to get out of here. And nobody's here. Everybody, I walked around the whole house. I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing here. Like, there's nothing for me here. Nobody called me. And I started acting weird.
Yeah, you were. You were getting mad because no one called you to tell you people were there. But you wouldn't have wanted to be there with that many people there anyway.
And that's because you pick up things.
Yeah. So now you come home to our house.
And I'm like.
You're acting
abnormal completely.
Yeah.
Now, guys, try to place
one way to put it.
When you're feeling good, you go around a group of people and you leave. Nothing bad happened, but now you're not feeling right.
Your mood completely changed.
I was sitting next to Paula going, I can't find happiness. I laid down, I tried to meditate, and I was going, I don't know why. I got up, I started eating.
Yeah, dinner was ready, and then during the middle of dinner,
you
stopped eating.
I stopped eating. All I kept hearing was, oh, you're eating flesh again. That's all I kept hearing over and over and over. And they were pounding. I'm like, guys, I got to get through a meal. Like, I want a steak. I thought everything was cool. See, these are the things that are going on. I know becoming fearless, you guys want ayahuasca, DMT. This stuff goes on all day, all night around here. I went to my house, picked something up, came back to here.
Right.
And I said to you, I think I picked something up.
And I said
can I run my hand over you?
And you said, no, I don't want you to do that. I'm not ready for that yet. So I said, okay.
Because when that happens, you throw up. It gets tight.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they say, well, how do you know it's like an entity or a being? I'm like, you could feel it.
It's foreign. It feels foreign in your body.
I felt nauseous.
Yeah.
I was having a steak dinner. Awesome. Just absolutely insane. I'm like, yeah, this is great. And everything turned on me. Mm-hmm. I had to pick my plate up and walk inside. This doesn't really happen like this. And I started realizing when I gave my mother the hug, I took out of her what she was at the funeral with all day.
Sure, because those entities hover around funeral homes and such places to eat that energy.
It's a very weird experience. It's almost like an instant manifestation of darkness or a veil being put back over you, almost like a shade. And you're like, well, didn't even realize it, but okay, I'll just go about my day.
So now you're getting ruder and ruder each minute.
I was getting angry.
Mm-hmm. Very angry.
I couldn't find a happy thought in my head. Mm-hmm. And I kept thinking to myself, I'm like, we got the show tonight. The show's awesome. Okay. No, forget about the show. Like, what do you mean forget about the show? I mean, that's not me. Yeah, your mom didn't call because she doesn't like you. This happened because of this. This is the reason why. She's quiet because she thinks you're crazy and blah, blah, blah. And I'm
and this is what you're thinking in your head.
I looked over and Squeak was staring at me. That's my cat. And he was looking at me. I go, what's the matter? You don't like me either? And that's instantly when I knew. I'm like, there's no way I can go from this.
Yeah, to hating everyone.
To hating everyone. So try to realize, even me, with all the crazy things I do in meditation and everything, I am still subject to getting blasted right between the legs by one of these beings just by showing up and shining light into the situation.
Yep.
Right? These are just real stories of how they attach to you. This is just one simple way.
So tell them what happened next.
Okay. So I come and I sit next to Paula and I go, I'm just on the couch and I'm smoking and I'm thinking to myself, well, I got this. This will calm me down. It'll bring me back into whatever. My part of the story after this gets really sick, but I saw Paula, like she like bounced a little on the couch and then turned to me. And what did you say?
Get ready.
And I felt this thing in my chest.
Yep.
Right. And you were like, let it out.
Yep. I put my hands on your head and your neck because that's where it was. And I said, let it out. And I started screaming. And then you threw up.
Okay. So I started gagging and choking. I put the smoke down and I sat back on the couch and I giggled something. And I remember looking at you and then looking away from you and choking. I started choking as if I was smoking.
And then
it just would not stop.
And I started coughing for no reason.
And I'm going, what's happened? Like, I'm thinking, oh no. I get up, I run into the bathroom.
And I said, push it out.
Holy shit. I threw up like a madman. And then I had to wait to gather myself because I can feel it. You came in the room and said it's in the back of your neck.
Yep.
Put your hand on it. I threw up.
Yep, you threw up.
Then you left the room and screamed.
Keep pushing,
right? And I was holding a hand over my head and my neck. When we come back, I'm going to finish up the story. It's just so crazy. That's why I'm a little off.
This just happened
right before the show. My voice is still raw from the incident.
Like I'm running down the sands of time. Another drink of ayahuasca just to free my mind. I hope to find another day what I've lost before. I'm trying to find my second wind so I can win some more. Don't try to tell me how it is or what can't be done.
We are TFR.
My faith in destiny is all I need to prevail.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Am I awake or is this a dream? A fantasy where I'd rather be. So come and talk with me. Come and walk with me. Is this a wake-up call from my reality? Have you seen my friends? Have you seen my girl? Wake me up from this. I'm trapped in this world. Thought you were alive.
Yeah, all right. Sorry about that before. And so I come back out of the bathroom after washing up, and I don't really want to make it about, oh, he got sick, he threw up. When you pass one of these beings, you purge. It's got to come out.
It takes a little energy out of you.
It's funny sometimes. You'll be like, open your mouth, and I want to laugh when you say that.
Yeah, because it has to come out. You have to open your mouth all the way so it could pop out.
You got to give it a place to go. I feel the push on your eyes.
Yeah.
That's like the big one. Like you got to like almost put your
side
hands
of your
over
head.
your eyes.
Yeah.
So I came back out. I cleaned up, sat back on the couch, and I kept saying to myself, why can I not protect myself from these things better? I need a better, like you guys are all around all the time, but what are you doing? Like I started questioning them. It's like, are you here to help? Like you see me struggling, you see me pushing.
But they're not to interfere, and you know that. So
that's where they came.
They're not to interfere, and you know that. So you can't say one time, "Well, hey, I'm throwing up. I need your help." And I'm not being down on you, but you can't say, "Hey, I'm throwing up. I need your help," and then say, "Don't touch me." If I don't say it's okay, don't touch me. So you can't have it both ways. But they're really not here to interfere. Like if I'm going to fall, they're not going to help. They're not going to prevent me from falling if I trip over a slipper. You know, they're just here to observe, like we observe what we see.
Absolutely.
We don't act on what we see. We just talk. We talk about it, but we don't. You know, we're not calling the news stations and saying there's another alien. There's another entity in the
response I
living
got
room.
was, "It's not our job to do that."
No,
but
it's not.
What they did say was the job. They were like, "Yo, congratulations, though." Well, first, I sat back on the couch, and my my head was pushed back. Right.
Yeah.
This happened when I was on DMT once.
Yeah.
This being like pushed my head back and my neck, and then poured this golden stuff on me with glitter, and it was pretty intense. And this was happening again. It looked like an angel was standing in front of me. I could see the outline of it, but it was pouring what looked like I don't know. It looked like an etheric flowing river. Right. And it was being poured out of this jug into my face, and my body was just filling with it. And then my aura filled with it.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, I stood right up.
Right.
My face wasn't swollen anymore.
Mhm.
I was like, they told me, wait 1 minute. How do you feel? I said, oh, I feel good. But I'm a little upset at what occurred.
Right.
Can we put a stop to that? They're like, well, we filled you now. Where these beings will leave a hole or spots where they gripped onto you, right? So you pull them off, and it feels like there's emptiness in the spots where they
It's
laid.
almost like a scar, like they leave a scar behind.
And you think like, how do I fix this now? How do I fill this with what energy or what? I found out how to do it through love.
Right.
I would say I love myself. I love myself. Send
Frank,
the light
it's the
in.
answer for everything. That is the answer for every question that you will ever ask, because there is only one true emotion, and it's love, and everything that comes out of it is the lack of love.
Yes. And it's so intense. And they were telling me, look, the combination to fixing your problems, right, is you saying I'm gonna do this, then getting help, like someone else that can do this with you. And they showed you. They were like, look, she sat next to you, it loosened it, and then you said, what did you say? Tell me you had to do.
I
You had a
said I
surprise.
powered up before I put my hands on you, and then I surprised you because you didn't want me to do it, because you were more afraid of throwing up than the entity being stuck on you.
Well, I had just eaten a steak.
Right, and you
So-
didn't want to throw it up. And what did I say? I'll cook you something else after. There's no problem with that. This is more important. So I had to power up, and then I had to blast you with my hands as quickly as I could. And you went, ah!
I almost want to film what goes on, but I'm afraid.
Well, we actually do have it on the security camera.
I know.
Yeah,
That's really
but
wild.
I don't want to see it. I don't, because we look retarded. We look like two dummies. That's what we look like. I don't mean to say retarded, but we look like two dummies.
I really know that I look like I'm going through physical, emotional pains.
But you are going through physical pain.
It's like you could watch them change.
The thing has to come out.
Almost like when you watch. I was comparing it to the Rorschach mask, the mask that is the ink blot, and it just forms a shape, and then it like removes itself again and forms another shape, and then removes itself again. It takes to solve the puzzle of getting rid of these things, right? You think of like how monkeys clean themselves or animals clean themselves, right? One comes on the back of the other one, starts going through the fur, starts checking things out. Etherically, they're pulling stuff as well.
Yeah, they're pulling stuff off of you, and that's what.
But it takes more than like you can't go. I'm going to go off into the universe. You learn the secrets and then do it all one by myself.
No, there
And
are
it's
too many.
like,
There
no.
are too many secrets. There
You-
are too many.
What I'm learning is
just what happens in the walls of this apartment is enough for no one to ever believe us again. I mean, honestly, right? It takes a very strong person to believe what you say. It takes a very strong,
Yeah.
open-minded person to believe the things that you're saying.
Yes, but at the same time, those that are within reach of us have been invited to witness or the occurrence.
Oh, they have
have
witnessed
their
the
own.
occurrences, but they're a small. I mean, we're talking about a handful of people.
Well, if everyone
know?
can do it and they're supposed to be doing, but most of the population isn't doing anything. Literally nothing. All right. I see people on -6, right? Partying because they made it to -5. Right? And I'm like, you need to not party until you hit 0. And that's getting to baseline. That's how bad it is. That's how corrupted it is.
But you can't look at the whole. You have to look at the aggregate pieces. So you're a piece. Our friends that we all have, Josh and Jody, they're a piece of it. Our other friends, everyone's a piece. It's we formed a community.
Right.
And
but those of us that have stepped through the circle first.
Right. Our listeners.
Setting the first
the
part,
Truth Frequency listeners, the YouTube listeners, the Facebook listeners. We are a community of people that see things this way. It's not uncommon.
Or at least trying to see differently.
You all have worked with or had dinner with or have been in the supermarket with people where their moods turn on a dime. You don't know what happened. The mood just turns on a dime. It's almost like someone possessed them because there's an entity that is feeding off of whatever negative energy they're giving off. Frank turned on a dime, and every time he does that, I can't say it on the air though, but I have a name for it. And, when he does that, I know that something's on him or attached to him because he's never like that. He's never like that. I mean, you made a great cup of coffee right before the show. I mean, people that make great coffee aren't just, dummies just because.
It's a weird experience because you can feel, I spoke about this on the show before, how you can feel the attachment jump from the other person to you. Like you just feel sometimes it feels like a slap in the face. Sometimes it feels like a light tap on the back. Like, hi.
Yeah. Sometimes it feels just like a powerful headache. You just get or an earache. You just get all of a sudden, I mean, how many of those headaches did I get? All of a sudden, I felt like someone was stabbing me in my head.
The willpower
you touched me and then it went away.
Yeah. The willpower of those who don't want us to succeed in any way, shape, or form are doing everything in their power to push themselves onto you. Everything. They're using everything from black magic, ritual sex magic. It's funny. They're still ripping Alex Jones, and now they're really tearing him apart. And I feel bad because Alex may not be perfect in any way, shape, or form. None of us are. But who had the set on him to get out there and just do what he did? I don't know how many millions of people he at least got interested, and then they turn on him and go, well, he's like, the minor guy. Like that's like the first time you get on, you listen to Alex Jones. It starts there. You got to give him a little props for just calling it like it is, man.
You do. And, for having the confidence to say the things that he says. I keep using him
because I want you guys to see, like, even smoking DMT and stuff doesn't mean you're going to see, the truth behind it. You hear Chris talks about it. I talk about it. Josh talks about it. You talk about it. Rogan and them don't talk about this stuff. Like, they don't commit to this on air. I believe off air they know. That's my personal opinion, because either that or they're just being showed in Kittyland. Like, there's a place we call kindergarten. A bunch of us have been to it a bunch of times.
But it doesn't mean that they haven't been further. They may just not want to discuss
that on air.
Yeah.
And try to get you to do it. And so you can say it, and then you can pull yourself out, and they could, hang you on the rope. In the end, the truth is, right? Children are getting hurt all over the world. Unnecessary wars everywhere. There's division, fear, separation, and confusion at all times being planted. It's just being shot in your direction from every angle. And you have to sit in there and hold ground. And you have to claim your space and say, this is my environment. In my environment, it's not allowed. It's not allowed. And a lot of people talk about this. I heard Seven Bomar talking. I listened to one of his YouTubes, and I was thrilled to listen to someone speak like that. He does it way better than I do, but it's a different way, right? It's very technical. It's even more understanding. I have more of a storytelling caveman approach to it. Hey, what's that, bro? You know, oh, what's this? Oh, you created thought. What else? Right? He's not like that. He's telling you what it is, exactly what it is. You know, the mothership is the motherboard, is the computer board, is the computer chip.
Right.
He just goes on, and as above, so below. And I was stunned that you could go on for hours. And I realized we go on for hours. And this is actually our 40th episode.
Is it really?
It's our 40th. There's 40 hours minus the 3 minutes up front. Oh, and I think episode 24, we didn't. It was Christmas. We didn't do the show, but I didn't put the rebroadcast, so it's just silence. So for those, there's a conspiracy out there. What's that show, bro? It's all blank airspace. We didn't hear it. Nothing actually happened that night. I was just dressed as Santa, running around getting sick. But one of the things I wanted to talk about now, we were both discussing, and people noticing this too. Like Zed said, we were coming together, becoming one again.
Oh, it's disgusting. You don't even know.
We've been talking about this for the last few shows. How
I think a word and oh no, Frank thinks a word and I say it. We were putting together a shopping list, and 4 to 5 times he wrote the word as I was saying it. He threw the pad at me across the room.
I spoke about throwing the pad with one word.
Yep.
We were going, and I'm like, oh, this is disgusting. I was doing it back to you, but there is a little bit of truth because Zed noticed it. Our buddy came, and he was like, oh, this is what happens. The two become the one. So if anything's going to happen, it happens where you're open.
It's like we're twins. It's disgusting.
What I'm feeling is, and I wonder if you guys out there are feeling it too, you're getting a chance to relive certain familiar moments
from 2012.
From 2012.
And I think it's the eclipses for this year. But yeah, so think back about what happened to you in 2012 and the milestones and
where you failed, not where you succeeded.
Yeah, the failures because they're coming up again, and it's almost like we're getting the chance to rework through the karma. And whether the outcome is good or bad, I don't think it matters. If you're replaying a scenario from 2012 and the outcome isn't what you want it to be, I don't think that's the point. I think it's just working through the karma. I don't think the outcome is that important. I think it's working through the karma because there are very specific things going on in my life, particularly in Frank's life, particularly that came up in 2012.
Hold that thought for 1 second.
Yes, dear.
Because they're rattling the cages in the chat room. What I mean about Alex Jones is he went off and said interdimensional shape-shifting aliens, interdimensional aliens. That's what I didn't punch in as the phrase. That's what he was talking about. All the other stuff I could care less. We know crazy stuff's going on. I go see for myself. I don't need Alex to tell me. But what I was saying is he let it out. And talked about the artificial intelligence. He talked about the different. I don't believe. Yeah,
he's not afraid to talk about.
He let that part out. That's all I care about, right? So that's the AJ part. That he says I looked at it across the board, and this. He goes, well, what do you see? And he came out, and it sounded like our show hyped up on crack. And that's what we see. It took us 40 episodes to dig it deep enough to show you guys a little bit of a picture, a glimpse, and he goes on Joe Rogan and just spits it out in like a 20-minute rant where they make fun of him. And I'm like, but he's right.
He's right. You know,
that's where he's right.
Whether you believe him or not, or you like what he's saying, he's right. You know,
that part is true. Dude, people out there, they're doing rituals and all kind of crazy blood sacrifices. And this isn't conspiracy anymore.
No, this is fact. This is fact.
We've literally met
conspiracy.
The other beings, guys. We know what they're doing. They're like, there's nothing you're going to do because it's magic. See, that's how it works. But nobody will believe you. See, that's how it works. I'm like, oh, all right. Then I asked my guys, hey, Toth, what do I say? Just tell them the truth.
But there's nothing you can say. It's the truth. These things have been going on since the beginning of time. We're
launched into
they're
a
never
Project
going-
Blind, guys. 4%. It sounds funny when you hear interdimensional shape-shifting, aliens raping children. That's closer to the truth than anything CNN tells you. Closer. So everything's going on though.
Where do you
all
wanna go
levels,
from
all
here?
layers. So from the typical stuff that we see every day that we know that's going on to the crazy stuff, to Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster.
So let's talk about something happy now, because this was a pretty dark show so far. And we didn't intend for it to be that way. So we apologize if it's coming off as a dark and dreary show. But we're going to talk about juicing now. And that should make you
No, but
laugh.
there's a reason why we're going to talk about it. All right, check it out. I was told under meditation.
Strict meditation. We are not talking psychedelics.
No
We are
psychedelics
talking
whatsoever.
meditation.
I asked, can I go get my eyes lasered? Right? And I hear no. And I'm like, why not? I need glasses all the time now. What's going on? Don't worry. The carrots will fix them. And I'm like, what are you talking about? The next thing I know, I swear, this is the weirdest stuff. You ordered a Ninja.
But you had already mentioned the wanting to do the juicing.
Right. Well, we had the bullet.
Yes.
And we haven't touched it in a while.
Right.
Okay, so the carrots will save your eyes. Okay, yeah, you hear about that stuff in school.
How did you hear about the green blender?
I don't know. I don't remember. It came up on my feed, I think, in Facebook. All right, green blender for $200, under $200. It's like $174 a month. I'm not promoting them. I don't want to do this. Isn't a promotion for them. So
No, but
be careful.
we're using them and we love them.
They send you a smoothie for 2 people a day.
Well,
for
it's
5
two
days.
smoothies a day,
2
however you
smoothies a
want to
day,
do it.
right? So they give you the recipe. All I wanted to do was get back on track. So I figured, let me get a month of this and let me see what the carrots will save me and all that. Let me put this to the test. But she was like, yo, I ordered a Ninja. So you should do that. And you left me the note. Go do that. So then I ordered it. And I'm like, all right, well, let's see what happens.
Oh, we are
Now-
blending rather than juicing. We're blending.
Yes,
That's
yes.
what we're doing.
And they're
no
smoothies.
one of the chat room people were asking.
Listen, this stuff has changed the internal structure of my body in
and it's been 4 days.
4 days.
4 days.
I don't know what's happening, but it feels internally fantastic. My bloat has gone down.
Significantly.
Oh my God.
Mine too.
Lowercase g, completely gone down. Like, oh, okay. Like after dinner, I'm not disgusting or whatever. Right? Everything's lubed, but you're getting everything you actually need every day. We're not getting the nutrients we need, period. They keep telling me the plants are your friends. The plants. You eat the plant, you get the telepathy. You eat the plant, you get the level up. You eat the plant, you get this. You eat the. And I'm like, you guys serious? And then you look under, man, if you're into psychedelics, eat some plants, eat some salad.
Do some blending. Yeah, we just had salad before
And just
you
look
threw
at
it
the
out.
energy. Ask out loud. Say, show it to me. You'll see the plants are alive and kicking.
Mm-hmm.
And that energy is going right into your mouth. It's doing something that when you eat the steak, and I don't want to say this, let me do a hamburger. When you eat the hamburger, it's like, it looks dead. On the other side, it's black. If you were looking from the etheric side, they're like, look, they're putting black in their mouth. When you put plants in your mouth, it's like electric, alive. And it's like, it just looks like it's making your whole body do like this internal firework display of everything that it needs. We're lacking that. I know we're in New York. We're lacking it. We're not getting the proper sunlight. We're not getting the right diet. We're not doing the right thing. We slip into routines easily. I know everyone out there is doing it. I just needed something to boost me into gear. And what did we wind up doing? I went shopping and just bought a whole bunch of stuff.
Yes, you did.
We got recipes. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't like this that we're going to try today. Apple pie flavor smoothie. And
but
oh my God. Lowercase j. It attacked my body with deliciousness and apples and all kinds of stuff that my meditations, they're happening naturally. Like I can just kind of turn in my chair.
Oh, I
take a
told you
few
I
deep
haven't
breaths,
felt hungry.
and then boom, I could feel the ohm that the universe
Mhm. Yep.
makes. That's what you're supposed to feel. The breakthrough not only comes from just DMT, ayahuasca, and Frank talking crap on the radio. You have to eat right. You got to get a little exercise. I haven't been exercising, so I've been trying every day to lose weight. I've been failing. I started juicing. All of a sudden, weight loss.
Blending. We're blending.
Started blending. Weight loss.
Yeah.
Instant weight loss, though.
Yeah,
like
me too.
that water weight.
Yeah, that's what I said. I think it's water weight in the beginning.
And I feel great. And I feel like my internal antenna is just going off. This is very important, guys. It takes effort from every area to achieve it. It's not just sitting on the mountain meditating. That doesn't work. It's a living meditation. It's where you do some meditations like that, then some meditations while you're in your car, some meditations while you're just jogging down the street, some meditations maybe while you're shooting a basketball, whoever,
Right.
whatever.
Right, but it's primarily just living in the now.
Yes.
Live now. Tomorrow, you can worry about tomorrow later. You should not be worrying about the past because it's already happened. Let that go.
And you can't hold on to the
Yeah,
things.
don't hold on to it. Just live now, because living now takes so much time. I can't believe we got from sitting on the couch and Frank having an entity to the show being over in 2 minutes and 20 seconds. It's like time is happening in a very strange way here.
Yes.
So
She goes,
live
you
now.
said to me, what do we do now? That's what you said
Yeah,
before.
what do we do
were
now?
just sitting there looking at each other like, well, now what? What do we do?
Yeah, we watch TV. Like, what do you do? When I cook dinner, like, oh no, I cleaned up dinner. But what do you do after that?
I put on reggae music and
Yeah.
danced with the cat to get my mind straight again.
Yeah, it's just
guys, there's no real wrong way of
strange,
doing
you
it.
know.
You got to connect and do what you're doing. It's already strange where we're living.
Yeah.
This is Alice in Wonderland, guys. This is it. You're in the furthest place. It's dense. You don't even feel your connection to source. I'm telling you right now, your body's speaking. It's talking to you, but
But
you
it
can't
is.
hear
Just
it.
listen.
But if you give it what it needs a little bit, you'll start hearing it all of a sudden. It'll be like, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. All of the smoothies, the recipes are all things I would never, ever, ever even attempt to drink or put in my body or eat, except for random things that I'll just get some of this and some of that, and that's it.
Yeah, all the good stuff.
Yeah, I just put it all in. I'm like, you know what? Whatever, man. Let the universe show me what I'm missing. And blow, every day is an explosion of awesome yumminess, which develops into my meditations lasting
In a good routine.
in an amazing routine. My body's saying, thank you so much for that. And now here's your level up.
All right, we're down to 45. What do you want to say?
I was saying it, actually. I was saying, don't live in fear. Don't judge others. Let them live.
Let them live.
You know what I'm saying? Take the one that you hate the most and just say, well, I may not like you very much, but I don't hate you. Let me throw some love at you. And if you got one of these things attached to you, throw some love at it because it hates that stuff. It hates it. And just keep doing it. Make it sick for being attached to you. Get back at it by not hating it, by annoying it to no end. Because when you bring the light, that's what's up. No, I'm just kidding, guys. This was Fearless. Thank you so much for dealing with us tonight. This is episode number 40. Go out and shine your light. It's so important. Tell them, Paula. Tell them how much you love them.
We love you. We love you.
And we're your protection from deception.
deception.
Stick around for Beyond the Veils up next with Chris and Cherie. We love you guys.
I'm trying to find my second